Hello, and welcome to another episode of Yellowjackets Season 2. The episode comes with shocking reveals and important stories that will eventually affect the rest of the series. Yellowjackets treated audiences to the harrowing process of teen Shauna's labor in the wilderness and revealed the tragic fate of her baby. Although the biggest treat of this Yellowjackets episode was seeing all the adult survivors, including Van and Lottie, back together again, surely things are getting clear and complicated as well. So let's recap and break down all that is there and predicts theories that will be in the rest of the episodes. Here is Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 6. Just so you know, this video contains spoilers. Shauna. The fate of Shauna's wilderness baby was finally revealed in Yellowjackets Season 2, Episode 6, and unfortunately, he passed away. Of course, there could be medical factors behind this, given that she gave birth to the placenta before the baby. However, it's also likely that the reason her son didn't make it is because she didn't believe in the wilderness power. Outside of Natalie, Shauna has been Lottie's greatest detractor. She's angered by the fact that Lottie has become so invested in her child and that a group of teen survivors has been praying to the wilderness in Shauna's baby's name. It doesn't seem coincidental that Shauna's labor began directly after she insulted both Lottie and the wilderness, coupled with the sudden onset of a snowstorm. Though Lottie, Travis, and a few others attempted to make sacrifices to the wilderness to help Shauna through her labor, it was ultimately to no avail. Shauna painfully hallucinates a brief life with her child before imagining that her teammates cannibalize the infant, and she wakes up to her child being stillborn. The haunting cries she still hears could be the wilderness way of taunting her, beckoning her to believe in its power. In the current timeline, Shauna revealed the truth about her affair with Adam Martin to the cops, much to Jeff's chagrin. It only spells further trouble for the Yellowjackets survivor as the police presumably follow her to Lottie's compound. Shauna telling the cops the truth was a shocking move, to say the least, especially after everything she and the Seiki family did to cover her tracks. However, she must have realized that the jig is up after her botched outing with Randy showed the police that she was hiding something. While they have no proof that Adam was murdered, she was the last person to see him alive. The police didn't expressly tell Shauna to stay in town for further questioning. Though, skipping town directly after being questioned by the cops about a missing person isn't a good look. Detective Siracusa, in particular, has already shown the lengths he will go to investigate Shauna's character. Now that Matt and Kevin know that Shauna and Adam were involved, they aren't going to let her go so easily and will probably track her down. While Jeff's suggestion to go to Lottie's wellness center came from a place of kindness and concern, it probably wasn't the best recommendation on his part. But who knows? Adult survivors. There's only one reason that the adult survivors are back together again in Yellowjackets, to figure out what the wilderness wants. Ultimately, it was Natalie and Travis that first understood the wilderness was a spiritual entity that followed them home, and it's come calling once again. How the other survivors outside of Lottie and Natalie will react to this news hasn't been shown, but it can certainly be guessed. Tessa may be more easily swayed in the present than she was in the past since her sleepwalking alter ego is wreaking havoc on her life, and Van seeing that firsthand may also make her more susceptible to believing Natalie and Lottie. On the other hand, Shauna and Misty will be the hardest to convince. How the others will manage to sway their opinion is unknown, but all the adult survivors will probably band together to find out the wilderness's demands or find a way to free themselves from the darkness entirely. They could perform a ritual similar to Travis before his death, or perhaps even go back to their Yellowjackets Season 1 roots and perform something of a seance. Either way, the team was brought back together for a shared goal, to find out what the wilderness wants. Wilderness. When the other adult survivors saw Lottie Matthews for the first time in decades, no one's reaction was more telling than adult Van's. Seeing all the Yellowjackets survivors together in the present timeline is undoubtedly a treat, but the circumstances behind their reunion spells danger. Travis' note to Natalie and her hypnotism session with Lottie confirmed that there was darkness in the wilderness with them that they brought back as adults. This suggests that the survivors could fall prey to the powers that be as adults. But a few key things suggest adult Van and Lottie will be the first to succumb. Lottie's visions are increasing. And in the latest episode, she said to her psychiatrist that she doesn't think she was ever ill in the first place, proclaiming, "We all felt it, it was a part of us." These statements suggest that Lottie may be approaching her visions with less fear going forward. And while she agrees that she and the group did terrible things in the past, she seems less turned off by the prospect of her hallucinations being a product of spiritual influence than mental illness. As well, she was the first adult survivor to make a sacrifice to the wilderness in the present timeline, albeit a small gesture. Adult Van being lulled into the wilderness power again has to do with several things. When she saw Lottie for the first time at the compound, her look was that of fear mixed with awe. This suggests that Lottie might still hold some sway over Van. And with the reveal that the wilderness was real, Van could easily fall back into hanging on to Lottie's every word. In addition, Van hasn't moved on from the past. living a deeply depressing and unfulfilled life. It's possible that the wilderness coming back could provide Van with a sense of purpose again, something she never seemed to regain after returning to normalcy. Hallucinations. Lottie isn't the only one to have hallucinations, as Yellowjackets Season 2 has also seen Coach Ben and Shauna having their own very specific visions. And it's about to get worse. Lottie's visions increasing in the past timeline is inevitable, as the group will follow her descent into madness and full-on possession by the mysterious Antler Queen. What Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 6 proved, however, is that Shauna and Ben's visions weren't one-offs from earlier on in the season. At the beginning of the installment, Shauna had conversations with a hallucinated Jackie, and Ben was plagued by what-if scenarios depicting his life had he never gotten on the plane. Ben and Shauna experienced another set of hallucinations in Yellowjackets Season 2, Episode 6. Unable to cope with the horrors of Shauna's delivery, Ben imagined that he and his boyfriend were playing charades in the same cabin. Likewise, Shauna imagined a short life with her son that seemed all too real. As things get progressively more challenging, and now that Shauna has this new trauma, she and Ben will undoubtedly see an uptick in their dissociative illusions. Whether they're a product of the wilderness influence or a result of their own trauma isn't explained, but it's probably a mix of both. I thought this episode was a good one. This at least revealed about the Shauna's baby not surviving and also reuniting the group for the first time in 25 years. So I believe it is going to be more interesting to watch what will be happening ahead. And there you have it. What do you think about this episode? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video.